Hello, everyone. I thought I would talk to you about why I love education, but in general hate school. Now, I think that this is a sentiment that a lot of people can empathize with and understand because I love attaining new knowledge, which is why I'm reading constantly and researching constantly. I would say most of the day I'm educating myself in some way, and in my spare time when I'm not writing or reading, I often love watching documentaries about literary figures or writing or history. And so I'm very much educating myself throughout the day. But I hate school because I don't like being told how I must learn, when I must learn, how I must apply what I've learned. I don't like being having to ask permission to go to the bathroom. I don't like being told when I must eat. Basically, I don't like education being operated like a factory, which is how most schools are run. They're run like factories. And until that changes, I don't think the education system is going to improve because you can throw as much money at a problem um, as you think necessary. But if the fundamental foundations of the system do not change, then it will all be for nothing. For example, you could have a factory that operates off of primitive industrial engines, or you could have a factory that operates off of high tech computers. But if the fundamentals don't change, it's still a factory. And the point with the education system is that it shouldn't be a factory at all, which is the problem. And which is why I haven't actually uh, been in college for many years. I attended college, but I didn't graduate, primarily because I really just for two reasons. One, I didn't like the stifling and suffocating effect of the education system, and secondly, I really didn't know what to do because I knew that any kind of degree that I could get involving subjects that I was interested in wouldn't lead anywhere. So I didn't really pursue any of those areas because I didn't want to teach or do anything like that. But I also didn't really have the passion to continue on um, in a field that didn't interest me, which is why I dropped out of college in 2016, I believe. I mean, I started college in 2013 and went for, I think, at least 2.5 years. I didn't go the autumn of 2014. I was out, but I dropped out officially, or I didn't really drop out. I never made a decision to like I'm going to drop out. I just after the semester of 2016, I just made the decision to just not go back. Well, I didn't make the decision. I just didn't go back. I didn't make plans because I didn't know what to do, which is another problem is that college doesn't do a very good job of securing jobs for people or ways for people to make money. And of course, education should never just be about making money, but it doesn't really know how to balance those two things either. So, no, I highly resent the education system. And I would say that my main problem with the education system, if I had to boil it down to one thing, is that the education system isn't personalized. That if you want that the best way for students to learn is for their education to be personalized, which is why you need smaller classrooms. You need teachers who can attend to the needs of students individually instead of teaching hundreds of students over the course of a day at the same time. And so until that problem is solved, nothing is going to change. And also giving students more freedom because I think that education should be more like a museum and less like a factory. That the teachers are guides to learning and they let students learn in their own way. For example, teachers will often try to impose their own personal philosophies on their students. For example, they'll be like, "Well, I think that the best kind of writing is writing that uses simplistic sentences." A teacher might think, or communicates, the bare bones approach, a utilitarian approach, where one student may prefer writing long, complex sentences, but they have to do it the way the teacher wants to do it, and not the way the student thinks is best. So many teachers do not allow for creativity because many teachers they're really more like dictators or administrators and less like tour guides, which is what I think they should be. And also, one of the main problems is the fact that no one should go into a teaching or educating profession if they view it as just another job. And many teachers, they go into it just as another job, as getting job security, but they don't actually care about the students. And I think can especially be a problem in rural areas and rural education systems like I attended, because so many people go into the education system because they think it provides good job security, because not a lot of other industries offer those opportunities in their particular area, which I think is a mistake ultimately, because if you don't actually care about the kids that you're teaching and you view it as just another job, then it's obviously not going to work. Which is why I suffered a lot of abuse in the education system from many different teachers, both physical and mental, and mainly because I would not conform to the way that they wanted me to learn, and and the way they wanted to teach me. And so I suffer a lot of trauma for that reason. And there are just so many problems with the education system that I can talk about and name. And but I think that the most fundamental problem with the education system, again, is that it doesn't personalize education. It collectivizes it, which is why ultimately I think it is very flawed. And at one time I thought about going into teaching myself, but ultimately I wouldn't want to deal with all of the red tape that comes along with it, and all the things that I would be told to do, and how to teach and all of that. And which is why I don't think I could an effective teacher if I had all of those instructions imposed on me. But until the fundamentals of the system changes, then I do not think that the education system is the best way for people to learn, because the education system it it teaches people to be dependent, on the system itself. It doesn't teach people to learn independently or to self-educate, which I've learned far more since I've been out of school than when I was in school, simply through reading and my own curiosity. Most of the things that I value and pride myself in knowing, I did not learn in school, and so that's why I love education, but at least at this point, I hate school.